Welcome, everyone, to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as 2K Sports takes us back into the NBA history books. This is a mid-'80s matchup between two Eastern Conference powerhouses. The 76ers, led by the legendary Dr. J, Julius Erving, and the Milwaukee Bucks, with their do-it-all defensive dynamo, the great Sidney Moncrief.
And, Kevin, this game, to some extent, a matchup of offense versus defense. The Bucks with Moncrief and Paul Pressey on the wings, arguably the best defense in the league at that time. And for the Sixers, of course, Julius Erving, a fearsome offensive ball club.
And the matchup at shooting guard, certainly one to watch.
No question about it, Kevin. Two wiry, athletic two-guards, and both of them are fearless.
Moncrief, a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, and can score in his own right. That has the potential to be an explosive matchup.
Now let's take a look at these starting lineups. First for the Philadelphia 76ers, Mo Cheeks and Richardson, with the imposing front line of Julius Erving, Bobby Jones, and Moses Malone at the 3, 4, and 5. And for the Bucks, Terry Cummings and Alton Lister up front, Craig Hodges and Sidney Moncrief in the backcourt. And point forward, Paul Pressey at the 3. He's the primary playmaker for the offense.
Now, Dr. J, really for both the ABA and the NBA, was such a charismatic spokesman.
Yeah, he really was. Had tremendous flair and charisma and personality and balance. He's beloved, was dramatic on the court, obviously, but always carried himself as a gentleman away from the game. Well, the doctor, Julius Erving, a superstar, also a stat sheet stuffer, career averages of 2 steals and almost 2 blocks a game. He could impact the game in myriad ways.
That's good from Erving.
Well, and you know, you talk about Julius Erving, and everybody thinks about the dunks and the spectacular plays, but you look at the stats defensively, the blocks and the steals. I mean, his defense was oftentimes overlooked. I mean, not only was he a great scorer, but he was a fantastic defender. And you look at what Julius Erving accomplished in his career, no shortage of accolades. He was a phenomenal player.
You know, guys, especially if you factor in his ABA awards as well. I mean, in combination, 3 championships, 3 scoring titles, 4 MVPs, and 16 All-Star appearances. I mean, that's significant work.
And Malone backing in. Sinks it from about 9 feet out.
Yeah, that's just too easy. He is so skilled inside.
Here's Pressey. From about 19 feet. Rebound, Malone. Here's Erving. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
Now, Dr. J originally joined the NBA when the Nets were incorporated into the league from the ABA, but the Knicks actually demanded money from them for invading their territory, and the cash-strapped Nets had to, in essence, sell him to the 76ers to stay afloat.
And that one misses.
And, you know, Steve, speaking of the Nets having to give up Dr. J, I mean, that gives you a glimpse at how tenuous a team's financial footing could be in those days. I mean, in fact, his previous ABA team had traded him to the Nets for financial reasons as well.
Here's what Milwaukee's going with right now. Brewer is checked in for Lister. That's Dunleavy in for Moncrief.
Now, you think of the preps to pros stars we've had the last couple of decades. Moses Malone was the first real superstar to come straight out of high school.
Yeah, it's nice to have a little history lesson here on this game, Steve. And you're right, he was a lot skinnier back then, but was already a force inside. Had a unique knack for chasing down balls and rebounding at a high rate. You think of Amari Stoudemire and Sean Kemp. That's how Moses came in, size, aggressive.
Now, you think about some of the amazing dunks that Dr. J threw down over the years. First one that comes to my mind is dunk from the free throw line back in the 1976 ABA dunk contest, a dunk that Michael Jordan later emulated.
Shooting for Philadelphia, Julius Erving.
That's good from Erving.
And Steve, you mentioned the free throw line dunk that Julius Erving did back in that dunk contest in the mid-70s. I always give a little extra credit for dunks that were on somebody. I mean, that's a little different and earns a few more points in my book. So I love his rock the baby dunk over Michael Cooper. I mean, where he just cupped it and brought it all the way back and over the top. That's one of the best of all time.
Julius Erving. First personal foul, team's first.
Here is Cummings. They need this. Blocked.
Well, just the one make here early on. 1 for 5 shooting.
And it goes as the official calls the foul. Count it. He'll shoot one more at the free throw line.
And you take a look at these two teams, guys, the Bucks and the Sixers. They saw a lot of each other in the playoffs during the 80s. In fact, faced off 6 different times in the postseason.
Pierce is checked in for the Bucks. And he completes the three-point play. Steve, you were talking about this rival. The Sixers were top dogs early, winning the first 4 series throughout the early 80s.
You know, but as Dr. J started to slow down, guys, in the late 80s, the Bucks got some payback and won the last 2 series. It maybe helped Julius Erving nudge into retirement, perhaps.
And Milwaukee calls their first time out of the game.
Well, they say that the star that burns brightest burns fastest, but not so with Moses Malone, a superstar talent with a long career. Played over 2 decades of pro basketball between the ABA and the NBA.
Here is Cummings. Right side, Pierce. Erving with the steal.
Well, he's showing off his defensive instincts by making plays just like that.
They get it back. Into Malone. And he finishes nicely on the way. Malone's got his second basket. Speaking of Moses Malone's longevity in the game, he was the last former ABA player to retire from the NBA, 1995.
And he still ranks as the 6th leading scorer and 3rd leading rebounder in NBA history when you count his ABA numbers.
Pressey against Richardson. Pressey with the rebound.
And that was Pressey grabbing the board. 1984-85 was probably the best of his 16-year career. He averaged over 16 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds.
Mo Cheeks, one of the 12 Hall of Fame finalists in 2011, didn't quite get there, but I imagine someday he will. A very humble man, played amongst some great players in Philadelphia, but he was always the leader of those Sixer teams.
Richardson working against Pressey. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one, drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
Well, the Philadelphia 76ers won 2 titles in their history, one in 1967, the other one in 83. And this 84-85 team still featuring some of the players who brought the franchise that second crown.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. A team with a fascinating mix of young and old, both playing at a high level.
And he makes the first. And some changes here for the 76ers. Johnson, he's checked in for Malone. And it's Johnson in for Jones. Lister's checked in for the Bucks. Jones comes in for Mike Dunleavy. And that's good as he hits both of his shots.
And you can see in this game how aggressive they've been. I mean, that's created a lot of opportunities at the line for them.
Timeout called the Bucks, and they've made the most of their opportunities.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. They've opened up a good lead as a result of being able to get to the foul line and knock down free throws. And we see these Milwaukee Bucks still with hints of red in their uniform. And I think that 84-85 was the last season until much more recently that red was featured on their uniform.
.109 left here in the opening quarter. Richardson against Pressey. Outside, Pierce. He's covered by Erving. Shot clock at 6. Cummings passes to Pressey. Over Richardson. Offensive rebound. Goes back up. Jones, no luck.
And you got to like the defense inside, really protecting the rim.
Challenging shots and making his presence felt around the rim, that's exactly what he can give you.
Lister. And it's Philadelphia with the rebound. And those uniforms, a long dalliance with the color purple, but now back to their original hunter green and red, which I love. What do you guys like better?
Oh, the original. I'm old school, Kevin. I love the old Milwaukee uniform. They got away from it for a while going to that purple. But they're back to where their roots really lie.
Just 1 second between the shot clock and game clock. Moving the ball. Pressey to the middle. And Ricky Pierce gets it to fall. Outside Erving. Hits it.
What a way to close the quarter. Huge three right there.
Yeah, and that's a deflator for the other team.
And after just 1 quarter of play, a double-digit differential on the scoreboard. 76ers on top. They lead by 12.
The defense was really impressive there, guys, in that first quarter. They came out focused right from the beginning.
And, Steve, that's a big part of why they're on top right now.
Don't go away. We'll see you in a moment. Well, not exactly a close game so far, but as the second quarter starts here, plenty of time for a comeback.
Well, you think about Dr. J before his days with the Sixers. I mean, he was the star player in basketball, and he was in the ABA, not the NBA.
And the Nets, the Nuggets, the Pacers, and the Spurs owe him a debt of gratitude because when the NBA incorporated those teams into its league, it was in large part due to the play of Dr. J.
Setting the floor for the Bucks. They've got McKesky. Moncrief is out there with Hodges. Then there's Davis, and it's Lister in at the center. And here is Brown. Johnson dishes to Brown. On the wing, Erving. Moncrief defending. The pass to Johnson. Shot clock at 5. The turnaround jumper. The shot is off. And the Bucks going the other way right now.
Well, they are getting out rebounded here, and it's showing up on the scoreboard as well.
Yeah, it's something they're going to have to improve upon if they're going to win this game.
Jumps up, and lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
Check out the game for Erving. He has 12 points, and he's knocked down 5 shots at the charity stripe. Good numbers for him.
Yeah, good numbers, and that's been important for his team. They needed some points. He's provided some easy ones at the foul line, so he's making an impact here.
That's good from Erving. And the 76ers making a change here. And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time. Here is Hodges.
And, you know, Craig Hodges, definitely a gunner, one of the great shooters in NBA history. Led the league in three-point percentage 3 times in his 10-year career.
And, you know, he won 3 consecutive three-point contests in the early 90s, tying
Deflects the pass. Here's Pressey. Lister working against Cheeks. 5 to shoot. Shoots. Hits the jump hook.
Something has to change, guys. That's 10 straight points coming in the paint against this team.
Well, they got to collapse in there, and everybody's got to be conscious of it. It's a team effort in protecting the paint. Control the ball, and then everybody's got to get in there and keep the defense locked down.
And the 76ers will go for a different look here. Johnson, he's checked in for Johnson. Jones comes in for Erving. Johnson, he's checked in for Richardson. And Smith subbed in for Cheeks. Tries to keep it alive. Here's Pressey. McKeskey passes to Moncrief. Shoots from 12. McKeskey. That's blocked. It's 2-on-1. Lifts up. On the basket by Jones. Jones has got his first points of the night. Bucks trail by 12.
Well, Pressey had a pretty good amateur career, guys. I mean, he led Western Texas Junior College to an undefeated 37-win record and the national title.
Well, then he went on to his hometown team, the University of Tulsa, led them to an NIT championship. So he went from a big fish in a small pond to the big sea of the NBA.
That right there is something Sidney Moncrief was so good at, despite his modest size. To average nearly 5 rebounds a game as a 6'4" guard, very impressive.
And the Bucks with some changes. Brewer is checked in for Lister. Cummings comes in for McKeskey, and it's Pierce in for Pressey. Moncrief, a screen on Johnson. Here's Hodges. Milwaukee, no good that time either.
They continue to pull down misses, and that's how they're maintaining this lead.
Yeah, well, one and done is the recipe for continuing to hold on to a lead. You don't want to let the other team back in it by giving them extra possessions.
Here's Moncrief. Still looking to get on the scoreboard.
Sidney Moncrief plays well above his 6'4" height with his strength and leaping ability, but coming out of college, there were major concerns about his knees. Some doctors said he'd only be able to play for a year or two.
He managed 11 NBA seasons, 10 of those with the Bucks before those leg problems caused him to retire, but still a wonderful career, and the Bucks have retired his number 4 in the rafters.
And Pierce backs in. Back to Moncrief. Covered by Smith. Cummings against Johnson. 5 on the clock. Oh! Yeah! Takes the alley-oop pass and dunks it down.
Boy, that is an alley-oop of the highest order on the front and back end.
Oh, play they've been working on, I'm sure.
That's got to be the case because that was impeccable timing.
Here's Johnson. Shot denied. Bucks trail by 11. Here is Hodges.
There's Craig Hodges, second-round pick out of Long Beach State. Really carved out an impressive career, a great shooter.
The Bucks need to get a shot off here. Here's Cummings. Off the mark, had a chance to trim it to single digits. The 76ers leading by 11. Johnson kicks to Malone. Backing him down. With the fadeaway. Good. Malone's got 6.
Takes such a delicate touch to hit that fadeaway jumper with a man in his face.
Here's Pierce. Finds net with the inside leaner.
Offensively just hammering away in the paint.
And that's 10 straight points inside, too.
Open look. Malone's shot good. Malone's got 4 points in the quarter. Johnson against Moncrief. Pass to Brewer. And Philadelphia grabs the miss.
And that rebound pushes their margin to +5 on the board. Solid job on the glass.
Well, it's just part of what they've done here to build this big lead, and it shouldn't be overlooked. I mean, rebounding is a huge part of this game.
Here's Cummings. The powerful Terry Cummings finishes in close.
Guys, that's what he does. I mean, he excels at getting to the rim.
Johnson with it. Little turnaround. Got it off in time, but it's no good. And so we conclude the first half. 76ers lead by 13.
Dr. J attended the University of Massachusetts for 3 years, and he averaged over 32 points and 20 rebounds a game in his 2 varsity seasons.
Man, oh man, I mean, just hearing those kind of numbers, guys, just blow you away. One of only 5 players to average more than 20 and 20 in the NCAA, and it was a different time. A player of his caliber, he joined the ABA as an undrafted free agent out of college.
We've got Moses Malone. Jones is out there with Erving. Then there's Richardson, and it's Cheeks in at the 1. That's the group in the game for the 76ers. Cummings with the ball. He gathers, and Jones pulls it down. Jones has got 3 rebounds now in this one. He passes the Chiefs. Pressey against Richardson. Erving against Moncrief. And that one's good. Erving's got 16 points.
And, you know, for his career, guys, Dr. J shot over 50% from the field. A very efficient player. And as we look at Paul Pressey, over a decade in the league and as a player, he's still around the game. He's worked in as assistant coach in the NBA for a long time. Now with the Cavaliers, and both his sons, pretty good players at Missouri.
Now off the inbound. They rule this one goaltending. Count the shot.
When you can make adjustments to the shot in midair and midstream and still knock it down, you know you're flowing.
Here's Cheeks, looking for his first bucket of the game. Dishes it to Erving. Pressey defending. Erving misses. Bucks trail by 15. Here's Hodges. Battles through traffic and lays it in. He's got 6.
He worked his way around the bigger man and found the hoop. Great play.
Yeah, really nice play. Wasn't bothered at all.
Bumped on the way up, but hits it, and they call the blocking foul.
The Doctor's always so dangerous offensively.
A versatile scorer, 5th highest in points scored if you throw in his ABA total. So just a brilliant basketball player.
Making a switch here, the Bucks. Dunleavy's checked in. No good there. He's unable to convert on the 3-point play.
And you look at Terry Cummings, a 2-time All-Star with the Bucks, former Rookie of the Year in 1983.
Yeah, I remember him quite well. As a matter of fact, I was runner-up to Cummings in that Rookie of the Year battling back in 1983. A solid big guy. Played 18 seasons in the league. Durable and productive. He was their best rebounder and a key scorer as well.
Ball's not loose. The high post shot, and he gets the jumper to drop.
Even with just a little bit of room, he's going to immediately go on the attack.
The 76ers leading by 13. Here's Cheeks. The 76ers with another miss.
He thought he made that one.
He sure did. I mean, it was an excellent look. It just didn't go down.
Leaps for it. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. Johnson, he's checked in for the 76ers. Timeout called the Bucks.
You got to keep everybody on the same page. They need to get their heads together. That's the goal.
Here's Dunleavy. Here's Lister. Picked up by Malone. 6 to shoot. A terrific inside finish by Moncrief.
Sidney Moncrief is such an efficient offensive player. Shot over 50% for his career from the floor, in large part because he got a lot of work done near the hoop.
Pressey against Erving. That is good. Erving's got 20.
Well, I like that he's come up with some big baskets for this team to help him out. getting this lead.
Paul Pressey's 6'5" out of Tulsa, and a lot of people credit him with being the NBA's first real point forward. Could really handle the ball.
You know, he's kind of the guy that I think of when I think of that. He was a capable playmaker, was Pressey. He assumed a lot of the ball handling for his Bucks teams and led them in assists in 5 straight seasons from '84 to '89.
Here's Dunleavy, and with that one, the lead is trimmed to single digits. Dunleavy's got 4 points now in the quarter. Here's Cheeks, still looking to get on the scoreboard. It's tipped.
And we saw Moncrief with the steal. Never the most aggressive pickpocket. He was much more focused on playing good, solid position D, but even averaging just over a steal a game, he's third all-time for the Bucks.
The 76ers with another miss. And it's Milwaukee's ball. They're on a 12-4 run. Moncrief dishes to Dunleavy. Here's Cummings. It's hauled in by the 76ers. Richardson's got 3 rebounds now in this one.
Well, interesting note about Reece Cheeks, and a lot of people remember this. When he was the coach of the Blazers several years back, he actually stepped out onto the court and helped out a young woman who had stumbled singing the national anthem prior to the game. He became very popular with people everywhere after that.
36 seconds left in the third quarter. Here's Preston. Dunleavy up top. Pass to Cummings. Takes it up for the stop.
Now that's a special order right there.
Not everybody can cap off a dunk like that.
Yeah, very difficult maneuver, but a tremendous one if you can pull it off.
Here's Cheeks.
And they will hold for the last shot.
Yeah, good clock management is essential here.
Here's Erving. Rolls in off the left rim. Erving's got 8 here in the quarter.
You know, that's a solid shot right there, Kevin. I mean, he's one of the better low post finishers we'll see.
And Dunleavy gets it to go in.
He's put on an offensive clinic. They've got to deny him the ball.
Yeah, and if that fails, then double him, Steve. I mean, they can't allow him to continue to hurt him like this.
Great awareness by fouling on that layup. Make him earn 2 points.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. I mean, send him to the line instead of giving up an easy 2.
Shooting for Philadelphia, Julius. 2 shots.
That free throw, no good. Both teams will make substitutions. Good on the second free throw. Well, through 3 quarters of play, down double digits, it may be difficult to overcome. It's been a clinic from Dr. J, Julius Erving so far.
Well, we know he can score, so it's not really a huge shock to see him put up these kind of big numbers.
And I would think that he most likely will continue to carry on this kind of play into the 4th.
And we'll be right back here in Philadelphia. Here's Moncrief.
Given that there have been quite a few stars to have worn that Bucks jersey, so it may surprise people to know that when Milwaukee fans were asked who their favorite player was, Sidney Moncrief was the overwhelming winner, even over the likes of Kareem and Oscar Robertson.
On the floor for Milwaukee starting the 4th quarter. Davis is out there with Mokeski, and there's Hodges, and it's Pierce, and it's Moncrief at the shooting guard position. From 20 feet out, it's hauled in by Cheeks.
A humongous lead for them here. I mean, they've really done a good job of controlling the flow of the game.
Yeah, and I think it's the rebounding they have to thank for that, Clark, because it's really set the tone in this contest.
And the 76ers making a change here. Richardson's checked in.
Julius Erving.
The free throw off from Erving. Bucks trail by 14. Here's Hodges.
Well, Craig Hodges, guys, also played for the Bulls and won 2 championships with him as a space-the-floor outside shooter. You know something about that, don't you, Steve? That was a role you ended up stepping into a few seasons later.
Yeah, in fact, I learned a thing or two from Craig Hodges. We played together in Phoenix in my rookie season, and he taught me an awful lot. But Craig Hodges, one of the great shooters of all time, now a shooting coach in the NBA, still around the game and helping other players.
Both free throws good for Hodges.
Well, one thing about Craig Hodges, he was always very outspoken about helping those less fortunate. And he also wasn't afraid to critique other players for not doing more work for social causes. And Craig Hodges felt that may have shortened his career somewhat since he didn't toe the line, so to speak.
Erving passes to Bryant. Back to Erving. Shoots from the line. Gets it to go. Erving's got 13 points here in the second half alone. Moncrief against Richardson. And he finishes at the rack.
You have to have such a great feel for the ball to get a finger roll like that to go.
The 76ers leading by 12. Jones kicks to Richardson. And Erving backs in. Fires, high post, and he connects with the jumper. Erving's got 29.
Well, he's smart. He's getting good shots, and he's knocking them down.
To the inside. He kicks it to Pierce. No one near him. No good. And the 76ers go the other way.
Well, one thing a lot of people don't know about Bobby Jones were the health issues he had to overcome. He dealt with asthma, seizures, and a heart condition that he had to take medication for.
Yeah, he was really an inspirational type of guy, fellas. I mean, he overcame some real challenges. And Charles Barkley said this: if everyone in the world was like Bobby Jones, the world wouldn't have any problems. That speaks to the quality of guy Bobby Jones was.
And coming off the bench here, Ricky Pierce. The Bucks acquired him in that big trade with the Clippers of San Diego, and he enjoyed his best years in Milwaukee. Two-time recipient of the Sixth Man of the Year award in both 1988 and 1990.
And the first one drops.
And Ricky Pierce at this stage really just getting accustomed to the NBA. This was only his second season after coming out of Rice as the 18th pick in the 1982 draft.
Here's what Milwaukee's going with right now. Lister's checked in for Mokeska. Cummings comes in for Davis. And Pressey subbed in for Moncrief. He's perfect from the line this time.
Well, it's hard to forget the trade that really shaped those Bucks teams of the mid-1980s. In the 84 offseason, they got Terry Cummings, Craig Hodges, and Ricky Pierce from the Clippers. What a great trade.
Here's Miller. Milwaukee with the rebound. Cummings got 3 rebounds now in this one. Here's Pressey. Here's Hodges. And Philadelphia grabs the miss. They can take their time on this possession.
You know, guys, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, it gives themselves a little break, too.
Catch their breath, you're right. Takes it up. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
Beautiful feed off the bounce to his teammate there. Nicely done.
And the 76ers call time here. Erving's checked in for Philadelphia. Richardson comes in for Miller. The Bucks also changing it up. Moncrief comes in for Pierce. And Dunleavy in for Lister. Here's Malone. Shooting over Cummings. And it's Malone missing. Bucks trail by 10. Now Cummings. They get it back. Dressy. Got a piece of it. And it's stolen by Moncrief.
And look at how quickly he got his hands in the way of that pass.
Terry Cummings pulls it in. Cummings got 4 rebounds in this game. Guy is a potent offense right now.
Yeah, Kevin, really the offense is flowing quite nicely right now.
Playing with a lot of confidence. There's some self-assurance. I like what we're seeing.
And he knocks down the first one. Cheeks hits them both.
And you know, Terry Cummings, the second overall pick in 1982 out of DePaul from Chicago. He was traded to the Bucks in 1984. He became a stalwart on that front line for 5 seasons.
He's been doing a nice job taking care of the ball. Not many miscues from him in this one. That's his only turnover.
And Dunleavy gets it to go in.
Good team play there. You move the ball until you find the right shot for the right person.
They're a well-oiled machine, Steve. I mean, working extremely well as a cohesive unit. Every pass delivered on time and on target. A lot of ball movement and player movement. It's a thing of beauty.
No coverage that time.
Kevin, he's been a bright spot in what's otherwise been a little bit of a struggle for this team.
On the wing, Erving. Moncrief defending. Now here's Jones. Clock at 6. And Malone backing in. Blocked. Clark, this one just all but in the books.
Yeah, I don't see a comeback at this point.
Not enough time, and just too big of a deficit for this team.
Here's Cheeks. And an intentional foul right there. Gets the first. That increases their lead to 6. Hits them both, and it's a 7-point ball game.
Big foul there. He hits the clutch free throws and pads their lead.
Now a timeout called by Milwaukee. They trailed by 7. There's 21 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Guys, your thoughts?
Yeah, they're not going to cash in just
reverses. It falls. Oh, and that cuts the lead to just 5.
Beautiful reverse. He got his glide on and left the D in the rearview mirror.
And so he's picked up his final foul. And he will sit for the rest of this game.
A tough break there, Kevin, but frankly, they'd have a tough time coming back from this deficit anyhow.
Good on the first, and that increases their lead to 6. perfect from the line, and it's a 7-point ball game. Timeout called the Bucks. They're trailing by 7. 15 seconds left in the game. What do you think, guys?
Well, they're not going to win this game, but at least you want to finish it out strong.
Well, there's no quitting them. That's
Here's Cummings. Here's Dunleavy. Back to Cummings. It's good.
Now, defensively, you have to question the effort, but nice play there.
Malone right side. Misses. So the 76ers win it.
Well, they did what they were supposed to do. They took care of that home court, and they've got the talent to do so.
yeah, their star power shined through. Just too much for the Bucks to overcome.
Well, we thank you for joining us as we celebrate the great bygone teams in NBA history, especially a look at Dr. J, Julius Erving. So now for Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and the whole crew, Kevin Harlan saying so long. We'll see you next time.